always this cordial. After we awoke in the mists, Archimorus was angry. It took a long time for him to accept death, but we did what all souls should. We stayed together.
Vicky,
I hate him. I meant to say that I hate him.
Wow. And with that musical segue, good morning, my friends. Let's turn down the music from Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. One of those games I have never played but has just an amazing soundtrack. Very much like Skyrim. Apparently, I should have played Skyrim at some point. I have not played Skyrim. I realize this makes me a traitor to the cause. I'm all right with it. I've made my peace with not having played Skyrim or modded it until it breaks or any of that stuff. Don't think I've even ever watched more than a couple of hours of a Let's Play. So yeah, hey, good morning, pals. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot on my brain today. I'm just back after a week off. That was really related to me needing to get a little bit of sleep. Good morning, Gail. Good morning, Caddy. Good morning, Epsy. Good morning to everybody else who has showed up. I don't have a whole lot planned today. I figured I'd beak off a little bit about this roadmap we got this week. Caddy knows how happy I am about the roadmap. But yeah, it is really nice here as well on the West Coast, up in the Pacific Northwest. It has been unseasonably warm up here. It's been pretty amazing. We've been all marveling at just how beautiful it's been, but then we had such a crappy spring out here. It was just a mind-blowingly crappy spring where we didn't get any warmth until about June. It was pretty crazy. So there we have it. What else happened this week? We got a roadmap. I think that's really all, I guess. Oh, and a notice of a new World versus World beta, aka the week where I can't play with my friends. Oh my god. I'm really looking forward to them kind of fixing that and getting it off the ground. Lex, good morning. Will you be farming the Mad King's Labyrinth? No, I will personally not be farming the Mad King's Labyrinth this year. And why will I not be playing the Mad King's Labyrinth this year? I have done me a whole lot of Mad King's Labyrinth, to be honest with you guys, over the last few years. I might do it for a couple of hours here or there. But I'm really not stoked about it. Me and the festivals in this game have kind of made our peace with each other and are moving along. I hate to be a Debbie Downer about it. It's just, I'm not sure I can really scream about Steve one more time. I don't know. Caddy's stoked for it. What class would I run Mad King's Labyrinth on? My three favorites are Shortbow Thief. I think Shortbow Daredevil is a really, really nice, cozy way to do the labyrinth. The other one would be Flamethrower Engineer. Flamethrower Engineer is in a pretty good place for it. And the third I would probably run would be Scourge. I think anything with, a fair bit of on-demand stability or mitigation of status effects like Frozen, Cripple. There's a lot of Cripple in the lab, so anything that does a fair bit of Condi clear is really nice. But I like Daredevil for the mobility, and the Shortbow is just probably the best way to tag things. An amicable divorce, but the kids are fine. I've actually, speaking of that, been cheating on this game. I've been cheating on MMORPGs this week, or for the last couple of weeks, with my ex, the fighting game. Yeah, I'll get into that later. But yeah, if I were going back in to what I was talking about, yeah, I think Mirage would probably be okay. I like Shortbow Thief just for the tagging potential, but I guess Staff Mirage would be pretty good as well. I think the problem with Staff Mirage mainly lying in its lack of cleanse, though I suppose you could probably get some on there. I don't know. I haven't played too much with Mirage in the lab. Whoa. As the music crashes in, Jeremy Soule just needing to have his say here on my show this morning. There we go. Let's get that down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, back to what we were saying, the Labyrinth. I'm just kind of over it, to be honest with you. I think Mirage would probably be okay, but the three that I run there are Condi Scourge. I run Condi Scourge because the shades are just instant huge AoEs. And Flamethrower Engie really is probably, if I wanted a no-brainer just to run around, I'd probably run Scrapper. Something like that. Run Juggernaut and just run Scrapper. Camp the Flamethrower. Those are the big ones. I have a couple of builds up on the channel for Halloween lab farming builds. They were met with mixed reaction, as some people thought they were doing a little too much quote-unquote damage. Not sure what to tell you. You still got to get your tags in. But yeah, there's a couple of builds up on the channel for lab farming builds. There's the Shortbow Thief that I use and the Engineer that I use. If I do another video this year, it's highly unlikely. I got so much else I'd rather work on. I would probably put up a Condi Scourge build for it. But, ain't no one got time for that, yo. So that is where we are at. And I guess we got our roadmap this week. I don't know. Caddy, what do you think about the roadmap? Are you all roadmapped up for this? My cat will not... he will not accept not sitting on my lap right now. Hello, buddy. All right. Yeah, the roadmap got released this week, and it looks like we are not getting any new content until next year. Oh, you are looking forward to the tower jumping puzzle. Yeah, I mean, I hate that thing. I've never finished it. I never will. I have zero patience for jumping puzzles. I'm about the I know about a jumping puzzles pretty quickly. I think the number of hard ones that I've done, like, legitimately, really boil down to the ones that I enjoy. I enjoyed the jumping puzzle in Siren's Landing. I thought that that was an interesting, well-made jumping puzzle that I completed legitimately by myself, without the help of, Mesmer cheeses, etc. Caddy saying, once you get it, it's so easy. This is my doubt face. This is the face that I wear when I'm doubting you. Yeah, no, I'm not in any hurry to do the Mad King's Labyrinth jumping puzzle, whatever they're calling it. It's the kind of thing that I'm glad the content is there. I just don't enjoy it. My patience for anything that doesn't involve the combat in this game is very, very limited. Zale, welcome to the channel. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. That's very cool of you. Tap out after Shaman's Rookery. Which one is that? Is that the one in like Timberline Falls with the bombs? Is that the one that we're thinking about? Yeah, no, the Winter's Day one, I've never done that one. I've never completed it either. I don't have it in me. I realize, good rewards, etc. But again, it's that kind of content in the game that where I may not enjoy it as much. I sure am glad it's there because I think it provides a fair bit of enjoyment for a number of people. But as far as I am concerned, I am not really enjoying it. It's the one in Wayfarer next to the Hot Tub Hero Point. I've probably never done that one, Gail. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, like I say, I liked the one in Siren's Landing. That was about it. There are kind of three kinds of jumping puzzles in this game. There are the ones where a scrub like me with low tolerance for these kind of things can play it. There are the ones that I think are really good, like Siren's Landing. I think there are about two or three that I think are actually good jumping puzzles. And then there is the absolute garbage, like the one here in Fields of Ruin. Yeah, it's like right over here. Dragon Rot Domains or something like that, or up in... it's in this general area, which I absolutely hate because it's always knocking you off those little platforms. And then there is what I consider to be some of the biggest sadism the developers have ever really shown us, and that is that those god-awful ones in Draconis Mons and Ember Bay. Oh, Chalice of Tears is just a terrible, terrible experience. And I would get into why. I get that there's people that enjoy the content. I am not one of them. And when it came to reasons why I didn't like the Seasons of Dragons achievements, a lot of it boiled down to the mandatory jumping puzzles, particularly the one in Silver Wastes. What does that jumping puzzle take? About like an hour to do it? And there's no way to cheese through it. It's got all those checkpoints. And, oh, geez, I hate that thing. Wow, I have been Debbie Downer Maximus here this morning. So, yeah, I should probably start talking about the roadmap because I'm super happy about that, too. The ones in Fields of Ruin at least contributes to getting a nice weapon skin. A weapon skin. Which one is that? If you don't mind reminding me. So there is that. Not sure what else to say. I'll go back to the topic that I was bringing up about the roadmap. Really not in a good place about that. I'm not one of the people who has enjoyed the return to season one to this point. I have found it old content, a story that was not very well conceived in the first place. I appreciate that they're doing a lot to clean it up. I appreciate that they wanted to fill a gap in the story, but wow. We won't get anything in January for the game, and because we never do, the ANET never really releases much in January, which means we will be looking at a solid 11 months in this game without any new content. Because I don't count the season one stuff. Maybe just because I haven't been enjoying it. I don't know. I won't go off on too much more of a tangent. I'm not one of the people who believed that the return of season one was necessary to make this game good. I'm not one of the ones who believed that that Living World was problematic. I was a big fan of Living World, to be honest with you guys. And we've seen absolutely zero indication that we'll be getting another season of Living World. I think the Living World stuff that we will be seeing probably more like little one-off maps or something like that. It's hard to say what's going on, but they've been pretty clear about not using the term Season of Living World starting. So I think we need to take our hint from that and wonder where the game is going at this point in terms of the open world PvE experience. Wow, Caddy, those particle effects though. Wow, Caddy is really hard carrying us all with her fashion this morning. Wow, my eyes. That was retinal burn. So yeah, there is that. The Eclipse Greatsword skin. Yeah. That is a great skin. For those of you guys who's wondering, either in chat or on the VOD, what Gail is talking about, she brings up a really good point, and I'd forgotten that was partially gained here. Let me go and look at this, and we will look at Eclipse. Only one L in Eclipse, go figure. Which I did earn. This was a part of a little thing they did where they had the community come up with weapon designs and the lore behind the weapons, etc. And let me just put this on because I probably can. I do own a greatsword, and we will go into here and let's go to wardrobe and let us reskin this sucker. And there it is. Apply. So it's a very nice greatsword skin. Your mileage may vary on how how much that actually suits your characters or whatever, but it's really well done. There were three. There was this one. There was Claw of the Scion, I want to say, which was the other one. And Favor of the Colossus, which is the torch skin that they did, which is really nice as well. Very, very nice weapons. Again, designed by the community, and I thought that was really cool. That's the kind of thing I think they should probably do a little more of. But then again, when the contest was on, I guess a couple of the loudmouths in the community thought that their designs were better. There were accusations about vote stacking on the contest and stuff like that. It was the typical Guild Wars 2 community reaction to things, and I'm not sure. Yeah, absolutely. There was a ton of controversy. One or two of the larger loudmouths on Reddit, I want to say, were the ones who took issue with it. One of the guys thought his should have won and made a real big stink about it and stuff like that. So It's the kind of thing that I don't think they're probably going to go back to that idea. I think it generated, in the long term, in the short term, I think it generated a little bit of ill will towards ANET. But there you have it. The weapon skins are really nice. They are really easily gotten. As Gail pointed out, they are stat selectable as well. So you can get some, some cheap, pretty, cosmetics that way. And what I thought was nice about them was you actually went through and did a little bit of a lore-based kind of quest series. And I think Eclipse was earned largely around here. I think you get the Scion's Claw, which is the sword. I think we could look that up here. You get that in Dry Top, I want to say, was where most of that went. And then the Favor of the Colossus was largely done in the Shiver Peaks, if I am not mistaken. So let's look at the Scion's Claw right here. We will wield that. It's a really nice sword skin. Maybe the hilt's a little bit long for you, but I've used this on a number of different characters. It's a pretty nice sword skin. And then the Favor of the Colossus, which is the torch, which is a fairly large torch. It's one of the bigger torch skins in the game, but I like the chains coming off that. They look a little better on Asura than they look on some of the other races. They don't scale as nicely. It's a common theme for the weapons in this game that are better sized on Asura than they are for a lot of the other races, which I will absolutely do that. Yeah, Favor is a way too big and we'll just view that on a character that we'll get the full view of it. Let's put it on a Norn and take a look at it. It's it's pretty good stuff. I won't complain about it too much. Grab a Char. Well, I've got two of them. I'm allowed. I have layers. All right. Here, and then Favor, and there we go. Yeah, so you see that is a rather large torch skin there on anything other than Asura. It is comically large. But then again, the sword has actually the same kind of issue as well, so it's a little kind of oddly formed there, but yeah, it's better. It's better. Again, that hilt is a little bit crazy long, but yeah, if you are looking to expand your skins, etc., I would take a look at those three. And again, they were community driven, so very cool. Torches are hard to work just because of what you expect a torch to do visually. This is why I will always favor for my torches one of two. My torches, I only go with one generally. And that is coming up. You should probably get it. Where are we going here? Weapons and Madness. Touch of Madness. I love this torch skin because it just sets your hands on fire. That's all it does. So when you use it, your hand starts glowing red. It's pretty cool. See, you go weapon only, you don't even see it because there actually is no weapon to it. It's pretty cool. It's a nice effect, sends your hand on fire, and it is best gained during the new festival that is coming up. I guess we are going to be having the Mad Kings Festival. These things, what do they run right now? During this time of year, they're about 75 gold or something like that. So let's take a look. So Touch of Madness is only 15 gold right now. So there you have it. If you are looking for a nice torch skin, that is my biggest recommendation. Go and pick up the Touch of Madness, which is fortunately quite cheap right now. And will only get cheaper across. And I guess there's the other one. What's it called? Like Touch of Fog. Is that even... let's go weapons. No. It's probably account bound. The Touch of Fog, which does the same kind of thing as Touch of Madness. Only it puts a fog effect on you. Night Ranger. Wow. Night Ranger. We're really going back with the Night Ranger references there to like American Bandstand back in the 80s. Which, yeah. Not that I'm old enough to remember that. At any rate. Yeah, so there is kind of where it's at. I have spent the majority of my week in game here playing Untamed, actually. I spent a fair bit of time on Untamed. I was helping Caddy a little bit with a world versus world build that she was working on. She is now playing Druid in World versus World. How random is that? And so I was just doing that, playing a little Untamed this week, and then I spent the vast majority of my week playing Tekken 7, which I absolutely love and wish this game would kind of learn a few things from. Big fan of fighting games from back in the day. I used to play a lot of fighters. And then I got into PC gaming and kind of let the whole genre kind of fly because I didn't have a controller, etc. I went out and bought a new controller yesterday because my thumbs are getting a little bit worn by my old one. And yeah, I've been playing Tekken 7, which I love. So there we go. There is that. I think what I would like to do is probably hop on my Untamed at this point and F around a little bit with that, and maybe Caddy and I will go slap some of the usual suspects while we kind of get our shit together here today. Because I have not made a lot of money lately since I finished my last legendary. I have been pretty much off the gold making. I am, however, looking pretty stylish. I will say this: I am looking very pretty. I wanted to experiment with the hammer, and I guess I didn't really give the hammer its full play when I first got into it. You think I need more shiny? Well, I'm not sure I'm willing to burn people's eyes. And plus, who could possibly compete with you? I couldn't. It wouldn't happen. So yeah, I've been playing Power Untamed. To give you guys a little look at it here, I've been playing in Diviner's gear. For the memes, I'm quite a fan of Untamed, actually. I've probably said this in the past, but I actually really enjoy the gameplay behind Untamed. I love the constant CC. The CC is absolutely crazy. And if you've played Untamed, this little switch here, the Unleash Pet versus Unleash Ranger, this Unleash Pet gives you quite a bit of mitigation. It does, of course, make your pets kind of, well, unattractive. My poor little baby dragon, not looking very cool. So there is that. I've been playing a fair bit of Untamed this week, but I will be honest, most of my casual gaming game time has gone to Tekken 7. Which, by the way, is currently on Steam for less than $20 if you guys are looking for a fighting game. Let's go camp the dragon while we wait a bit and see what else is going on. Pet Alice Swamp Thing, right? I mean, I don't know. There had to be a better visual indicator than that. There really did. I'm not sure what to tell you guys. It is not the moss grows fat on a rolling stone. Gaddy, what the hell are you talking about? All right, onwards. You'll note I am running the rabbit as I play Untamed. The rabbit is pretty good CC when it drops, so let's see what happens. Oh no, somebody's going to kill the giant before we get to it. Here we go. This giant, though. We'll unleash our ranger, and we'll do a whole lot of damage to things. So, it's pretty good damage. It's not like top tier damage or anything like that. It's pretty strong. The CC is pretty amazing. And you get the side benefit of really giving yourself a little bit of breathing room when you swap to the pet Untamed, because what happens is you get a lot of defensive buffs for that. So So what did we get there? 9.5. 9.5's not bad on the giant. Of course, Caddy did 14, but it's just kind of how you roll these days. Maybe we get the. Do we get the other ooze? The champion ooze is up, so we will slap this one as well. This is a nice spot for just practicing on champs. If any of you guys want to do a whole lot of that, I recommend this spot. It's pretty good. The only real problem is it's very close to the waypoint, so you end up in scenarios where you can't really solo this or kind of test any kind of solo builds that way because of just the general being of it. But when we take a look, we're leaving combat here. We've still got a fair bit of quickness. Some of that's from Caddy. A lot of that's from me. You got a whole lot of fury, 25 stacks of might. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. Caddy enjoying doing some damage for a change. So there we go. Let's, what else are we going to smack here this morning? Let's go smack the Brood Mother up in the corner here. We'll see how that goes. I'm sure it will be pretty chill. So there's that. Any of you guys out there who may have any questions about the game, any comments, anything to add about our roadmap week, anything like that, feel free to pipe up. But yeah, I'll run the Springer on this primarily just for the CC when it lands, because Untamed does a lot of really fun things when... Oh, did you kill our Broodmother? Well, at least you're a Sarah. Okay. Let's try something else. Let's go smack a hero point, maybe. I think a hero point is probably a good idea. Let's go over to this one because it's close, and we'll take a look. Other than that, I've just kind of been in a holding pattern with the game. Not sure, you know, I guess we get a little more content from the season 1 stuff coming up, and then that's kind of it for the rest of the year. I'm trying not to get too down about it. Whoa, that is me thinking I was on my sky scale. Yeah, let's remedy that, shall we? Lucky we lived through that one. Yeah, I guess, yeah, thank you. Well, everybody had a great view of that, Caddy. You know, one of my greatest shining moments right there. Okay, let's see what happens with the Champion Golem Mark 1. So basically, you just want to drop as much CC as you possibly can on this thing. Broadhorn is such a pretty big lad. Broadhorn. Fish Auto, good morning. Welcome to the stream. There we go. Oh, this guy is Big Auto. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, the Sky Scale skin. Oh, yeah, yeah, I love my Fat Boy. My Fat Boy is probably my favorite skin of all my mount skins, to be honest. There's that one, and there's a Springer skin I have that actually changes the sounds. It's like a robot Springer skin. Oh, yeah. Well, that's your Diviner's gear talking there. Do not res me. There is no hope for me. Except for the... Alright, so where did I stand there? About 5 on that one. That's not bad. Yeah, the Fat Boy. I call him the Fat Boy. And, this is probably one of my favorite mount skins in the game. He's beautiful. But the other one I really like is when I go to the hero panel and we go into, whoops, mounts, and we go into the rabbit. And one of my other favorites is the alloyed Irontail. And the reason why is you can hear that sound. It actually puts a little filter on the sound like it's a robot. I love it. It's pretty funny. That one's really nice. And I have the gecko, which licks its own eyeballs, which, I mean, you can't go wrong with licking your own eyeballs, really. Let's let this gentleman handle. Oh, let's go help him. I'm feeling helpful today. That's just how I'm feeling. There we have it. Help this guy get his hero points. Yeah, this is the problem with this build specifically is it's not super super tanky, I guess is the best way to put it. It doesn't have a ton of sustain in it at this point. I've really just been kind of enjoying the running a little bit glassier power damage build, I guess is what I've been doing a lot of these days. So there is that. But then when you play with Caddy, you got to be able to do some damage, or, you know, she gets toxic on you. She's all like, where's your DPS, dude? There is that. So we will go here. Yeah, man, she says, yeah, well, you know, where is my DPS? There we have it. Dude, where's my DPS? That would be a good guild name. Have to get my cassava root, because it is a chance at Maguma lilies. That's why I stop over there. Episode name. There we have it. All right. So yeah, the break bar hate on this build is pretty extreme, which I guess is what it's made for. But then when and it spikes nicely, you know, but it is a little harder to play than, say, the classic Soul Beast memes. And the downside is when you're playing with a Firebrand, you know, they'll dust your damage. There we go. Wow. That's like 30% less damage. Caddy, are you running Celestial on that? Were you doing that in Celestial? That would make me sad if you were running Celestial and getting those numbers. But you probably are. Alright. We'll leave it at that. Yeah. On with our day. Celestial Firebrand. Probably still the thing you want to run for open world content. It's my build. I don't know. Nobody does that kind of damage on one of my builds. I'm sure you've tweaked it somehow. So there is that. Think probably we could probably go and maybe do some fractals or something. We will see what happens here at this point. Uh-oh, somebody is taking our stuff and we're not going to get our hits in, and I'll have to start a forum thread about power creep. There we go. That was easy. I don't know where else to go here at this point. It's just a sad state of affairs. I think I'm going to swap tunes here. I think if Caddy's going to play this damage build, I'm going to take a little look at what Vindicator looks like after the changes this week. I guess Vindicator ruled World versus World for about a day and a half, and then got nerfed pretty quickly. But the hopping, what were they calling that? Bunny something or other. I don't know. Hop something. I forget. Bunny hopping. Boon Bunny. There you go. Boon Bunny is what they were calling it. Yeah. So basically the idea was you would just hop around with stamina sigils in World vs. World Zergang. It was pretty crazy. So let's see what happens with me here on my... I've been focusing on Celestial Vindicator. Celestial Vindicator. That is an interesting idea. By the way, Guy Murphy, welcome to the stream. Welcome to our morning fun. Celestial Vindicator. I could see it being good, but what would you get off of Celestial Vindicator? I mean, you know, the expertise and the Condi damage wouldn't be of huge value, but, you know, that's... let's see what happens. I'm going to keep Caddy alive, let her do her thing, and we'll see how this rolls. We will have to hit these. see what our healing numbers are like. I'm gonna pull out the Ventari just because I'm feeling self-abusive. There we go. So the healing numbers are good anyways. I'm not sure what else Vindicator really in PvE brings to the table. I'm gonna turn down my volume a little bit. That's a little high. Okay, there we go. Let's get over here, do some healing. Yeah, I mean, the support options are good, but... And then you get the break bar off the staff, which is nice. I'm just not sure about the rest of it. I'm not sure why I don't think this is as good as things like Tempest. A lot of that has to do with Ventari, which is just not the most fun build to play. Or gameplay. I don't think Ventari really is good. I think it's kind of antithetical to the way that the game works, but I mean, I like the idea of it. But yeah, I mean, the support numbers are there, but is it bringing quickness? No. Is it bringing alacrity? No. Does that then really kind of prevent it from being as viable as the other options? I think so, yes. Obviously, this damage is not great here at this point. Let's go over and get our buff here, and we'll see what happens. Oh, come on back. You want to be healed, don't you? Yeah, you do. And then there's the hopping, and the hopping is kind of nice. And I guess getting that stamina back this week and was an interesting change. I'm just not sure it was, needed. I'm not sure that the spec suffered because of that. I thought the spec suffered because of just low DPS numbers. And if we're going to revisit those trade-offs, can we please revisit the Mirage trade-off? I think really, if we're taking a look at those trade-offs that make a spec feel unfun, then yeah, let's look at that Mirage one dodge too, because I'm not sure that is really not on the same kind of footing. And when I played Vindicator, I was okay with the one dodge. There were ways to mitigate it. There was food. There was all sorts of other things. But I think that the real problem was just that it wasn't doing the same damage. And you go and play Mirage, and Mirage is very much in the same place, right? Very much in the same place. So I don't know. It does 11.5 self-buffed on a Golem. Guy, that is actually a decent amount for an open world build. I think that that's not bad at all, to be honest with you. I think my limit when I'm talking about self-buffed, so only your own buffs. For those of you guys who don't know what we're talking about, basically when I'm testing an open world build and taking a look at its damage potential, etc., my bare minimum these days is about 8.5k for an open world build. And I think if something is doing, self-buffed 8.5k, it's in an okay place. More other builds will do more than that. Obviously, Condi builds are going to be fair bit higher. Sully Soul Beast does 13, Willbender 10. My Willbender does a little bit more than Soul Beast. I've not played Sully Soul Beast. If I was gonna play Sully Soul Beast, I'd play Sully Soul Beast like for Condi. I'd absolutely play it for Condi. And then the question becomes like, why am I not playing it for? Why am I not playing it in Trailblazers gear at that point? Because Condi Soul Beast doesn't need the boons. Condi Soul Beast has plenty of life leech back when it comes to. I don't know what I'm doing here. Condi Soul Beast has plenty coming back to it with like Predator's Cunning and stuff like that. So I would have to play around with it a little bit, to be honest with you. Your class mechanic should not feel like a handicap. It should be playable. Single dodge Vindicator was fine as single dodge. I don't feel like the handicap was as much as it was uniquely Vindicator. I thought that the thing about the quote unquote handicap on Vindicator was that it actually forced a little bit of play. I thought the problem was it was that it wasn't rewarding enough. If you look at Mirage is plenty rewarding for the lack of dodge, right? So when we're playing it, we get a fair bit of value off it. But I just don't feel that we were getting that off Vindicator. I don't know. Vindicator's a funny spec. Vindicator was I found it to be strange anyways. Just kind of try and hold your ground here, Caddy, and we'll see what we got, except for the obviously the whatchamacallits. The polluter, which is just painful. But I think I should be able to out-heal polluter. I'm not sure. We will find out. I think, yeah, I guess I can out-heal polluter, which is kind of nice. That's pretty sexy. But I just didn't think it was that bad. And if we're looking at these philosophies, these changes in philosophies with the trade-offs, then we really need to look at all of them and not just whatever is the new hotness. And I think Mirage is probably the biggest one. I'm thinking of other examples where that trade-off feels really bad. Let's get that break bar out. And I'm probably thinking about... I mean, they adjusted Berserker this week, didn't they? So I guess that's a big one. I mean, that mechanic in Berserker wasn't great. Still isn't great. I mean, it just does raw damage. Though I have very little experience with it, I guess you got to start looking at Deadeye and making Deadeye good. Deadeye really suffers for its class mechanic. It really, other than instanced content and trolling competitive, what good is Deadeye? I'm not sure there's a really good answer for that. Vindicator is like wanting to get a pizza at a chicken fried place. If you like fried chicken, it's fine. What? Yes, I will agree. I think I think I understand what you mean. I don't know. There seems to be some inequities in these things going on, and probably because they haven't got very far, and we should probably all just wait for the next balance patch and blah blah blah. But I just thought some of the decisions were curious, and I really think that that losing those trade-offs then very overtly places the elite spec as a direct upgrade. And elite specs were supposed to be a side grade. They were supposed to change the way you played your class, not completely overpower it. And it really just feels like that's kind of what's being lost at that point. For some reason, my music got switched out of the Oblivion soundtrack to this, whatchamacallit, cyberpunk crap, which I don't feel like listening to today. Anyways, onwards. So if we're going back to what we're talking about here, about these elite specs, then, are we getting rid of all of them? Are we only getting rid of some of them? What is the criteria? What are we getting rid of, and what are we not getting rid of, and why, and stuff like that? And are we really going to give up this whole point where the core spec is viable? Because is the core spec viable anymore? And when I say viable, I mean it in the sense of compared to other options. Because there's viable in that you can play it, and then there's viable in that the options are so good that you don't want to. You know what I mean? And that becomes non-viable at that point. When the options are so drastically overpowered compared to what you're running, that it becomes no longer an option to play it, then, you know, the word viable comes into play there. It really does, which is a word I like to be pretty careful about. All right, let's see if we can get this one. This guy's pretty painful sometimes. This guy does a lot of spike damage, so we will see if we can keep Caddy alive here. Probably see if we can keep ourselves alive. Let's see what happens. Break that break bar as best we can. Oh, no, that hurt. That hurt bad. That hurt quite bad. Yeah, no. Poor Tukey is not going to survive. There's my DPS carrying me by resing me. That's the sign of a truly great player right there. So I don't know. I do not know. Game's in a weird place right now. Game's in a pretty strange place. Feels like it's kind of in this like little transition place. We'll see where it goes over the next few months. I am a little weirded out, to be honest with you guys, about that roadmap, though, as I mentioned earlier. This is going to hurt. There we go. Well, the healing potential is certainly there, and if I wanted to play something for heals only, I would probably play Support Vindicator. But as an open world generalist, I would not do it. Because it does no damage in its Harrier's gear. There we go. And I think after this we will take our 5-minute break. And because if Caddy doesn't get one, she gets super cranky. She really does. Let's have some barrier. Stab. You know what would make this good? Stab. If you could have this give stab, then we'd be talking. Oh, I am giving stab. What am I even talking about? Where am I giving stab from? Those heals, though. The heals are real. That sniper that's real. Oh, wow. That hurt. That hurt bad. Let's get some heals back up. Wow. I guess you probably want to run this in Minstrels instead of Harriers. I don't know. What would you run this in? I guess instance content, you'd get away with the Harriers. But these big spiky damage points here, these are pretty nasty. Looting enemies. There we go. It's that sniper and that fist that really does it. Should probably just pay attention to tells, shouldn't I? There we go. We got the cleanse. You could do worse than this, I suppose, but in a meta where if you are not bringing quickness or alacrity, a build like this is really not going to see a lot of play. Then you got to think, I guess, Plague Doctor Scourge doesn't. This is also pretty fun to play if you don't count the Ventari memes, which are obviously awful. There we go. Nice big green numbers, keeping the people alive other than yourself when you're playing poorly. Yeah, I am getting stab off this. You're right. I'm pretty sure it's coming from Tree Song. Just trying to figure it out. Yeah, it's coming off Tree Song. Is it not? No, Nomads. Tree Song. No, it is. I'm getting quickness off Scavenger Burst, but that's on the other side. So what is this? Yeah, Awakening. Breaks stun on nearby allies. Grants protection. 2 seconds of stab. That's not bad. Are we getting stab off Ventari at all? No, Ventari's just kind of just green numbers. All right, yeah, I mean, it's. I will find a place to. Oh, yeah, no, I've got to kill these things now or get away from them, and I have no damage. So I'm just going to try and get away from them. And hopefully I can get to a waypoint here without getting chain aggroed. There we go. All right. It's almost like I know how to play this game. All right. So we will go to this waypoint. We will take 5 minutes. I will come back. I will catch up with the chat. And yeah.
When the engine is operating, air is drawn into the engine by means of the compressor, in the same way that the turning blades of a fan pull in smoke. Now the air is forced into the burning chamber, where it is mixed with fuel sprayed from the fuel injectors. When the fuel burns, it produces hot expanding gases. Let's think first about the usual ways of moving things. Let's see that action again, and this time think of the force. For every action force pushing against an object, there's an equal and opposite reaction force pushing back. This is a law of physics discovered by Sir Isaac Newton. Once again, an action force this way will produce a reaction force in the opposite direction. Now let's do it again and think about the reaction forces.
Sure, I could have stayed in the past. Could have even been king. But in my own way, I am king. Hail to the king, baby.
Fumes of gasoline, benzene, and naphtha, when they mix with air, are a powerful explosive. And when they reach an open flame, every minute of the day and night, all year long, there's a fire. Every hour of the day and night, all year long, one person dies and 4 are maimed by fire. When will this appalling rate of death and destruction come to an end? That is the challenge. How will you meet this challenge?
All right, let's play some Mesmer.
Ow. Ow.
Okay, good stuff. Let's make the video. All right, I'm back. No, that's fine. Caddy has asked me if I want to do some damage today, and I am fine doing the support. I have switched, however, to what I consider to be the best support build, which is, of course, Tempest. So we will hit some stuff on Tempest. Let's see what's up here. Let's grab a more challenging one here. What do we got? Oh yeah, Balthazar's Lost. Just not easy. So I should probably get off my Springer, and then I will catch up with the chat where we are talking a fair bit about Vindicator today. Those of you guys who have joined us, welcome to the stream. Let us take a look at that. You can perma quickness and get prot. Yeah, I mean, can you perma quickness on yourself or people around you is the real question. Because if I'm worried about perma and quickness, what I think I really want to do when it comes to Revenant is play like a quickness herald, which I think is a little bit more impactful. I'm not sure though. Let's hit this guy and see how we do here. Let's get some alacrity going. And really it comes down to what I think are probably the two big boons in PvE, which are obviously quickness and alacrity. And if a support build is not generating these things, I have to wonder about its viability. And we get back to that line about viability, and is it viable when the other options are so much better? But you know, the alacrity's there, and really all you got to just make sure you do is kind of spam those overloads, and it's right there. So I'm a big fan of that. If I can get alacrity on my Firebrand, I'm doing okay. But again, when we're talking about Vindicator, yeah, it's being used a lot in World versus World, where I think it's a big value. I think what people are sleeping on in World versus World, though, when it comes to Vindicator, is Rite of the Great Dwarf. So running Dwarf on that, and running the trait that actually group procs Rite of the Great Dwarf. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Rite of the Great Dwarf is a 50% damage reduction, and I don't understand why it doesn't see more play in World versus World. And maybe other people understand the meta a little bit better than I do, but we'll go back here. We'll get some might on Caddy, just because we like that might. Get a lot more alacrity going up there. Extend the boons with Warhorn 4. And this is just better than Vindicator, mainly for the alacrity, but I actually think the green numbers are every bit as high as well. And I guess Tempest sees a fair bit of use in World versus World as well. But that's where I would play. If I was playing support in World versus World, it would be Tempest. There's just no question about it. Hit our little things here. Caddy really coming with the big numbers. We like that. Support, I much prefer Tempest. It's like, yeah, I mean, Tempest is really strong. We should probably get over here and hit these. Come back. Give Caddy the alacrity. The problem with Tempest is the alacrity on the final pulse of the overload, which is not always. Oh, I'm not paying attention, and here we go. There we go. Keeping that up very well, but yeah, like, I mean, I'll catch up. I think the core specs must be automatically weaker than elite specs. I'm not sure that programming isn't all ArenaNet these days. to be honest with you, the power creep is real on the elite specs. I think that Heart of Thorns, when it introduced, I think we got a decent kind of spread on what those elite specs did compared to... Wow, that's quite a little banging outside, isn't it? That's pretty crazy. I think my uncle is building something or destroying something. Anyways, if it continues, I will have to get up and close the door. At any rate, but when we get back to, you know, power creep in general, you know, Heart of Thorns came and gave us a little bit of power creep. There was a little bit of power creep. And when we look at the way Dragon Hunter kind of dominated the DPS, and Druid was the only viable support spec for the longest time. I think there were some points that we could make that way, but it wasn't nearly as bad as what Firebrand and Scourge did when Path of Fire launched. And now we've got Mechanist, and I don't know, Mechanist got a little bit of a snoot boop this week, but it just seems to me that that's kind of how the developers are playing it out, that the elite spec is a full upgrade at this point that is absolutely needed. And I think that's not the original vision, not what a lot of us signed on for anyways. But it's kind of where it is now. Kind of live it, love it, how it is. There we have it. Oh, really? We get some spam in our chat here. How do I handle this? This is the first time I have seen this. Let us report this person for unwanted commercial spam while I... Yeah, thank you. And then let's remove and remove and remove. Wow, best adult dating site. Well, let's see if I can stay alive here. I doubt if... Yeah, no, I'm full dead. There is no hope for me. Well, that's what the spammers do. Wow. That's the first time I've been spammed live. Usually the spam comes after I put a video up. Then you have to go in and do that. But back to what we were talking about, you know, when the elite specs were first sold to us, they were a side grade. Now they are objectively an upgrade at this point. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. I liked the idea of them as side grades. I don't think that we need the power creep that we've pretty much had at this point. Look at Caddy just, you know, soloing everything. There we go. I'm here. Largely for ceremonial purposes. I could at least get you some relevant boons. What do we think? There we go. Have some more relevant boons. And have another relevant boon. But, you know, if I were looking to hard carry my friends through, like, some instance content, like DRMs, fractals, dungeons, things like that, Tempest is where I would be, where I would play it. The Vindicator is not bad. It's just not as good. Not nearly as good. Let's get that on you. And again, we will extend those boons. And we will wait for this inside-outside business. All right. Well, there we go. Get our alacrity back up. Get more alacrity back up. Go into fire, and let's worry about some might. More alacrity. And we'll go over into earth and just seal the deal. That should keep us fairly solvent for a little while anyways. So where are we at here? Still got about 18 seconds of alacrity. We like that. And we can pull out. There we have it. So I don't know kind of where we're at. We'll just wait for this to end because phase shifter is awful. There we go. We're worried about the alacrity again. It's kind of simple gameplay. I'm a fan. But I think what it mainly has that we don't get off Vindicator or specifically anything Revenant related is we don't have to worry about the tablet for the heals. We can just splash this stuff around us. All right, let's get out of here so we can do a little range damage. Well, we can't because the thing is following us. So we'll just sit here for a few seconds and there we go. It's fairly easy. I recommend anybody who wants to get kind of started playing support in PvE to take a good, strong look at this one. And I'm not talking about speedrun support where it's like this hybrid kind of, you know, how much damage are you doing on top of it. I just mean like a dedicated support tune. There are a lot of options in this game currently. I'll take this guy up. With my amazing, what am I doing here? 1K per second DPS. Go me. There we have it. Toxic Alliance Slayer completed. Was that guy Toxic Alliance? Was that... What? How did I get Toxic Alliance Slayer off a bounty in the desert? I'm not even sure. Let's go do a DRM or two, and I will hop on a different tune, and we'll take a look at a change of scenery for our morning, and we will move ahead at that point. There we go. Let's go to Eye of the North, and I will play something a little bit different that offers something. What will I play? Let us try so many choices. I will try playing some Hollowsmith. I will do some damage too, and we'll scream through a couple of these. There we have it. Just because, yeah, that's how Saturday morning rolls this week. Any of you guys looking to kind of hook up and do some stuff, please, by all means, jump on in. Send me a message in-game to MindCircus1506, and we will have it. All right. So, this is probably my favorite build for instanced content when I'm playing Power. I will play Power Hollowsmith. Plus, you know, that fashion, though. There we go. We'll just do a couple of easy ones, make a couple gold. I would like to join a Dragon Response mission. I would like to fight one of Jormag's champions. I will do the Lake Doric Dragon Response mission. And we will go in private because, yeah, those public ones are full of leeches. And there we go. I think that's the problem. That whole public instance, I understood the reasoning behind it, but it, again, like many things, brought out some of the worst elements of this community. What do you say? Full CM on a glass build? What the hell? That's just how we're going to roll today. Lake Doric is my favorite DRM. It is. It's a good one. Oh, this just might be the wrong build for this, though. We will see soon enough. I suppose I could just hop onto Celia if I wanted to at some point, if I start taking too much. But this is a lot glassier than I usually play. We will see how it goes. Oh, yeah. I'm just taking all the hits. Okay, this is probably ill-advised. We'll see what happens here. Kill this code and hopefully res. No, I can do it. There we go. Oh, good. There we have it. There we have it. This is, yeah. Probably just have to let Caddy carry me again. I don't know why I'm running the grenade kit. This build is probably scuffed. There we have it. DRMs. I quite like DRMs. I wish they'd really kind of doubled down on this whole method of doing group content and instanced content anyways. The ability to... Oh, wow. Just lighting myself on fire, taking a whole bunch of hits. This is just me at my best this morning. There we go. Yeah, bad things happen when I don't play support. There we go. I'm being saved again. Go me. What do we have here? One more Ice Brood Captain to kill, and then we will have to evacuate some people. I'll probably change after this to something with a little more sustain. Obviously a good idea when you're low manning these things. It's probably your best plan. So let's go in here real quick and let us change to our celestial gear. Why? There we go. Okay. Why is it not letting me change my build template? I'm not... Seriously? I'm just randomly on fire? There we go. Okay. And there we have it. Onwards. This will be a little bit better. Yeah, I was in combat, but who knows what actually had me in combat. When you're doing the DRMs here, the best mounts are going to be probably your Raptor and your Springer. Probably the Springer. When you're on full CM, what happens is they all get like stab, what you need to rip. This will be better. Do love me some Holosmith. Heard them for the nuke. Let's come in here. There we go. I highly recommend Celestial Holosmith. I've said it before. I will say it again. Kind of has it all. Whole bunch of boons, a whole bunch of damage. It's one of those specs that actually does a meaningful amount of both power and condi damage, so you get that really nice value off it. Whereas most of the Celestial builds that kind of perform highly are more condi based. There's a couple that do really well because they're giving you that meaningful kind of spread, and I think Revenant is one. I think when we take a look at why Selly Renegade is so good is for one of those reasons, I think. Though obviously a lot of that is condi damage as well. Selly Staff Mirage is my jam. Yeah, Staff Mirage is a lot of fun. I've said it before. I want to take a little time and just get into playing some Mirage in competitive. I'd like to start roaming on Mirage in World versus World. But this is actually another good World versus World where I am, however, just standing there taking hits, which is ill-advised. There we have it. Yeah, I like Staff Mirage a lot. Where I like Staff Mirage the most is big game hunting. So if I'm soloing champions, legendary bounties, things like that, that's where I love Staff Mirage the most. As a, you know, kind of a just derping around, hitting stuff, I'm always going to go with a power build for that. But when it comes to the bigger stuff, yeah, I'm a really big fan of Staff Mirage when it comes to the big stuff. My only problem with it is the ramp time. It does have a fair bit of ramp time, as do most Condi builds. But I find that the Staff Mirage ramp time is pretty high, which is not a problem against like the larger stuff. But once you get against trash mobs and stuff like that, it's not as valuable. Suffers a bunch of yeah, for sure. I find Selly Ranger is pretty awesome all around. You know, I was playing a lot of Ranger this week when I wasn't playing Tekken 7, and yeah, I would think that, you know, a nice Selly Condi Druid would be in a really good place right now, and probably a really good idea that I spend a little more time with it, because I think with the alacrity now, I mean, you got to run the spirits, I suppose, but that's not awful. And I think you get a lot of value off that. It's largely theoretical. What we did this week was spend some time taking a look at it for support in World versus World, where you are doing a little bit of Condi cleanse, you are doing a little bit of heal, and you are doing a whole bunch of immobilize. That immobilize in World versus World, which is so very much a game mode that depends on mobility. I think that the Ranger, the Druid really does kind of have a lot of value when it comes to shutting people down like that. And I think Caddy will attest, she was really talking about how much fun it was mobbing large groups of people. All right, so there we have that. So let us get to our next part. Yeah, it does suffer on the trash mobs, JD America, and that's not always, you know, an awful thing. And when we say it suffers, yeah, it suffers compared to power builds. But I mean, in full Vipers, you're getting a lot of value off that. When I play Open World Mirage, I actually play it in Vipers gear, and I think it's one of those builds that actually does do well in full damage gear. So I haven't actually tried playing it in Celestial. I have not played any Celestial Mesmer builds, which is, I guess, strange. Probably a lot of that is due to my inexperience with Mesmer in general. I'm not a big Mesmer enjoyer. The builds I like on Mesmer, I liked Condi Virtuoso a lot. I actually like Power Virtuoso, which I really realize is largely a meme build. But I like Power Virtuoso a lot. I like the Condi one because it's just, you know, sturdy, lots of sustain and stuff like that. But for a more active playstyle, Virtuoso played in Power Gear, where you kind of buff your blocks and stuff like that, is really a lot of fun. So I'm a big fan of that. I'm not managing to find my DPS on any of the Mesmers in Celestial. Yeah, and I'm the same way, but I haven't given it a lot of time and effort, I'll be honest with you. Where I find that Mesmer really shines is kind of one or the other. I like Condi Mirage. I like Condi Virtuoso. I'm absolute crap at Chronomancer, though. I can't see Chronomancer being good in Condi, so I wonder what the value in Celestial is on that. I wonder what's the value is there. I'll catch up with chat here in a moment. Just going to carry my end here and not let Caddy, you know, do everything like all the other weeks. You know, see how we do. See if we get full gold low manning this. There we go. On my meme Celestial Hollowsmith. I think we'll give most of the credit to Caddy, though. There we have it. I will catch up with the chat in a moment. Mainly, when it comes to Mesmer, I think I'm getting better with it. I think my problem with Chronomancer is continuum shift and or continuum split, and I'm not really I can't really wrap my head around how to put that into a rotation. I would like to spend time with it, but there's just so much else to do. There really is. I'm playing a build and spec that I'm objectively poor with is not always the best use of my time when it comes to this game. I gotta think that Celestial with the Torment runes on Mirage would be really good because the Torment runes proc regen now, and regen on the Celestial armor is actually really big value, I find. So any of those builds that really suffered after they nerfed those Torment runes, running those in Celestial is really nice. I noticed that specifically on Renegade. I also noticed that on Scourge, that it was really nice. And again, proccing that stuff is really nice. Sully with the heal line instead of dueling is less damage, but you're basically invincible. Yeah, what's that, like Inspiration? Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I run Sully armor with Viper's trinkets. You see, that's a nice one. That's a nice one right there. Infinite regen, yeah, and a regen again in Celestial armor is a very, very powerful thing, particularly if you're splashing it out to other people, I find. All right, let's see how we do here. If I get a little quiet on the chat, do keep that in mind. This fight can be a little bit get a little bit hairy at points. See how we do. We don't want to get out of Hollow Forge as soon as possible because we're going to want that for the break bar in a bit. The break bar on this fight is really important. Try and splash a little bit of regen down myself right now. Let's go. See how we do. So you really want to save your CCs on this one, because if you do not, you will get punished by those AoEs on the challenge mode. See how we do here. There we go. That was a nice break bar break there, so we should probably be able to two-man this. Unless things go sideways, which does happen. Caddy, of course, hard carrying the DPS. For those of you guys who are like Arc enthusiasts and everything, do keep in mind that I do keep my numbers for cleave on. This is not single target only DPS, and I do that for my own reasons. I think testing for open world builds, the cleave is actually important. So, you know, those of you guys who are hardcore watching the ARC numbers up on the screen, etc., do keep that in mind. I do measure a slightly different way. Oh, this is not good. You're not in a good place. Gotta get out of this. Break that break bar. There we go. And I will catch up with the chat as soon as this fight is over. I guess I should have kept my my elite up there. Kind of wasted that. It's got a lot of CC on it, so that's kind of why you want to keep that. Splash a little heal onto Caddy. Dive. Looking at our next break bar, our last break bar hate here in a moment. So I'm just going to auto attack until that bar comes up. Or will we be able to manage it? Nope. Looks like we're going to get it. Looks like we're going to do it. Oh, there it is. There we go. Cleanse the burn, and looks like we got it. The 2-man. There we have it. I believe. See, this is a good boss fight. I really, you know, we're not getting fractals anymore. We're not getting these anymore. What happened to our 5-man content in this game? Some of the best content in this game is like 5-man content. I get that the DRMs weren't super popular, but wow. I mean, you know, adjustable difficulty modes. We could go full challenge mode on that with 2 people if we wanted, just for some, you know, just for a way to push ourselves, and the ability was there. We can still do that with obviously old fractals and stuff like that. All right, let's take a look. I'm catching back up. Infinite regen, yeah, huge value in Celestial Gear. Huge value in Celestial Gear. For a while, I played Condi Leaning Chrono with Rampager's Armor and Perplexity Runes. First off, those Perplexity Runes are fucking expensive. Worked better than I thought, but she's still a crystal farmer. A crystal farmer. What kind of crystals do you farm? I don't even know. Crystal farmer? What kind of crystals are we talking about? To be fair, I don't raid or anything, just open world. Yeah, quartz crystals. Yeah, quartz crystals. Okay. Been a while since I actually farmed those hard. To be fair, I don't raid or anything, just open world, being able to take on anything I come across. You know, I'm going to say this, put this out here to you guys who don't raid. I'm a really big fan of the Emboldened thing, if you guys have never done them. I enjoy the raids. I've not done a ton of raiding in this game. I really do enjoy the raids that are there. The ones that I've done have been some of the best times I have in this game. I really do enjoy the raiding in this game. I think it's absolutely fantastic and where the game's combat system really shines. But I don't do them a lot because I'm doing other stuff mainly is the best way to put it. The other thing is, you know, to get into raiding, it's largely a social thing, and you really just got to have some friends to do it with. You know, you just need 8 friends, and then that one friend on top of that who actually understands that stuff, and you can get through the Emboldened stuff. And the raids in this game are really high quality content. They really are. Yeah, I mean, Celestial Gear, those quartz crystals are absolutely essential for that. I'm going to swap tunes one more time, and we'll do one more of these. I am thinking, what am I thinking? What am I thinking for one more DRM? All right. Let's go full meme mode on this, and I will pull out my Celestial Harbinger. Here's a class I thought I would play more. Here's a spec that I thought would see a lot more play, and just hasn't. And I'm not exactly sure why I haven't played it more, but Harbinger, I have not played a ton of, to be honest with you guys. It's not that the DPS is lacking. It's not that I'm not sure why I haven't played this, to be honest with you guys. I hear it's really strong as a world versus world roamer, which I may take up at some point. But yeah, let's play a little bit of this. Harbinger fucks me over in World versus World. Harbinger fucks a lot of people over in World versus World. I think there's a lot of cover condies. I think is what it does well. What do you think? One of Primortis's. Let us run Metrica on the full CM, the two of us, and we'll see how that goes. I need to put more time into learning Harbinger. I have to rewrap my head around Shroud not being like normal Shroud. Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, you know, what may actually be the problem for me with Harbinger is that it plays too much like Condi Engineer. It's like Engineer with Epidemic, I guess is the way to put it. It doesn't play much differently than Engineer does when you're playing like Condi Engineer. And maybe that's why I don't play it as much. Which I guess is a testament to the design, because these are supposed to be, you know, like your main class subclass thing is what the elite specs are supposed to be bringing to the game. And I think it does it well, but it just doesn't feel unique to me, and it doesn't feel, it's missing something. And I haven't given a lot of thought as to what exactly it is missing, but it just definitely feels like it's missing something to me. And I'm not sure what the fix would be. I don't know. Are there any Harbinger enjoyers? I know a lot of people who love the new elite specs, but it's thiefy engineering with less necro-iness. That, I believe, are probably the right adjectives. Thiefy, necro-y, Shroud-like. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I thought that this was going to be one of the ones I played the hell out of. I haven't turned the CMs on. I should do that. Let me do that before we do anything else. Where are the CMs on this one? Are they over here? Yeah, down here. Let's do that. Necroclass Fantasy has never done it for me. Yeah, well, no, I'll give it up for Reaper. I will give it up for Reaper, which I think does it well. I like Scourge. I've played a living ton of Scourge. I think Scourge is absolutely fantastic. But the base Necro, I've never enjoyed the minions. I liked Reaper for what it was. I liked Reaper back when it was more of a Condi spec. Am I missing something here? Oh, yeah, we haven't actually finished these. Okay. I should probably get on that. Defense golems repaired. I should just kill some dudes. Neither has engineer as it happens. Yeah, I'm not used to my own Shroud trying to kill me. There is that, but that's not that much different than, say the problem that you have with Hollowsmith, right? Which is the longer you're in the forge, the Hollowsmith does more. Let's pull some stuff and start doing some real damage instead of this single target thing. And let's see what our damage does here. So this is Celestial. Probably get better damage on it out of Ritualists. But that's largely theoretical. It's not something I really tested too much. Because every time I think Ritualist is going to be great, then I go and I play whatever I was playing Ritualists in Celestial, and I'm like, yeah, no, this is better. This is better. Let's have all the boons. All the boons is good. We like all the boons. Maybe I should imagine my Harbinger as an engineer. Maybe it's all in the cosplay. Maybe you just need the right outfit. I was realizing that about me in video games the other night while I was playing Tekken 7. That I play games better when I'm happier with my customizations. It was a lesson I learned back in City of Heroes, where I will absolutely play characters I like less if they look cool. So yeah, maybe you just need the right cosplay for it. am I running here? Dagger focus on my off? That's weird. Could be the cosplay, truly. Good looks make a bit... Yeah, I mean, it does. You get more invested in your character. The more invested you are in your character, the better you will play. And I really... and that's true for any MMO. That's true for any video game, period. If you are invested in the character, skins make you play better. Yes, Caddy with the big wrinkly brain. Skins make you play better. Specifically speaking, I think if you feel an affinity for your character, you're going to play it better. You are absolutely going to play it better. Clear these little dudes here. Let's trigger this. Yeah, and I was playing Tekken 7 the other night going, oh, wow, this sucks. And then I just went into the character customizer, made it look better, and I was like, oh, yeah, no, this character's great. And then I realized, yeah, no, the red paint job makes my car go faster, kind of thing. Let's get moving. Now, I guess I can just... Let's go. Green saves more gas. It's true. It's true. Still looks like it did when the character was a Reaper. Then I don't embrace it as a Harbinger. And there's truth to that. I mean, I grew this character knowing it was going to be a Harbinger, right? That was the idea behind it. So that was probably a good part of why it was so effective. But I mean, Harbinger is pretty stupid damage. Like it's pretty good. I don't want to hate on Harbinger. I mean, it's no celestial firebrand, but it'll do it. So did they, they gave healing now to the Warhorn? Is that what it does? Life siphon damage? Healing radius. Yeah, they put a flat out heal on the Warhorn, which is good. Let's bunny up. The blight meter as big as the... You know, there's a good point. There may be some visual indicator issues. Absolutely. I would agree with that. Alright. Let's have all the boons. Let's do some epidemic. There we go. The damage is nice. The damage is absolutely nice. And the survivability is really good. Let's just check my build for a moment. Am I running Parasitic? No, I am running Lingering Curse. Yeah, I mean, if you want to be near immortal, you know, putting Parasitic Contagion on there is maybe a 15 to 20% damage loss. It's a significant damage loss, but it's some of the best self-sustain in the game still. Even after the EOD nerf, it's still pretty strong. But yeah, when we're playing without support, we just want to be pretty careful about this, not letting that shroud, that Harbinger shroud kill you. I've not noticed a lot of the Harbinger shroud kind of downside. I guess maybe that should be one of the things we take a look at, you know, is that making the class less playable, like the one dodge on Vindicator? And does that trade-off need to be looked at? That's the question. That is the question. I'm not playing this very well. And all of these, all the stability here is really getting in the way of my my pull, which is one of the reasons I love playing Necro. I used to play a lot of Necro. I used to play back when Chill Reaper was a thing. I played a lot of that. I know when Path of Fire launched, I played a ton of Scourge in World vs. World because it was probably about the most overpowered thing that this game has ever offered. Scourge on launch in World vs. World. There were a lot of us that were playing it. You would go into any group and you'd see so many people playing it. It's crazy. This is not my best moment here. What happens on the challenge mode is, in addition to having stab, these things actually like burn after they die. They put a little burn patch on the ground, so if you're really not taking care of your feet, you can really take a lot of pain from it. Otherwise, it's a pretty spammy thing. I really do prefer Scourge, especially from a class fantasy standpoint. Harbinger is weird class fantasy. I mean, the whole necro engineer cross in its essence is a weird cross. Even if you don't like the class fantasy of necromancer, crossing it with engineer was just really weird. Whoops. All right, let's do some boss fighting here. See how we do, Caddy. Have all the boons. And then I will epidemic. And then we will should probably, if we're not playing with any support, have parasitic contagion on, but Caddy is just smashing my damage numbers so badly, it's kind of sad. More boons. Should probably give a real shot of playing it in Harbinger in full Viper's gear. I think that might be interesting. So there we go. There's our boss phase. Phased it up. Let's take care of the trash mobs. There we have it. Death is the most significant damage loss. What is a good class to use for unlocking the Sky Scale quests? So just for your general open world stuff, it's always going to be whatever you find cool and fun. The best open world classes these days are Selly Firebrand. I'm still going to tell you guys to play Renegade, Condi Soul Beast, Celestial Hollowsmith. There's a lot of really good options. There really isn't one, best option for open world these days, to the game's testament, right? But when it comes to those open world kind of quests and stuff like that, it's always going to be about what you are most comfortable, have most fun playing, because there are viable, strong ways to play each and every class, right? But when it comes to, what do I enjoy, what's good, what's overpowered is often the actual question that's being asked there. I'm probably going to still say that Firebrand is busted, even with all the nerfs over the last 5-6 months. Mechanist is still busted. Mechanist is still brain dead God mode, regardless of any of the actual nerfs that have happened. I still think that Mechanist is still drastically overpowered. So if you like Engineer, Mechanist is probably a good one. I am currently a big fan in open world of Power Scrapper as well. I think Power Scrapper is in a really good place for doing, that. When it comes to your open world stuff, if you're not big game hunting, you want to generally favor a power build because it will give you smoother clear of trash mobs. And a lot of your open world play is clearing trash. And so a power build is going to be better in those cases. But you also want a power build with some survivability. So you're going to want to play things like Scrapper are really good. Things like Scrapper are really, really good. Mechanist is still in a good place. And again, Mechanist, for the ease of play, it's really hard to beat Mechanist. So we'll just load up some burning on this guy. And just go in and epidemic that out. Not a whole lot taking any burning, but there we go. Caddy with the 25k per second. Wow. We all want to be caddy when we grow up. There we go. And there it is. Two-manned on full CM by average players. Average players at best. You too can do this. Sorry, let's go back and what Renegade? Condi Renegade is in a really good place. Have the max height jump on your Springer to get your sky scale, also a really good one. I really like tips like that. Yeah, making sure that the rest of your mounts are fully upgraded, probably another good one. Trying to think what else you'd want for tooling around those areas, and I'm not really kind of sure. I would want the Griffin. I would want the Griffin before I got the sky scale. I would absolutely want the Griffin before I got the sky scale. What Renegade? Yeah, no, I think I got that. Nora, hi, welcome to the stream. Hey, it's 11 o'clock. We've had a good return to the streaming thing this morning, and I think at this point it is time for me to, I would say go touch grass, but you know, I'm probably just gonna go play Tekken 7 before work. I do have work in a few hours, so I will make my way on that. Thank you guys all for showing up this morning. I really do appreciate you guys. You guys are really amazing just for kind of coming to hang out. Really appreciate it. So thank you for that. I am going to remind you all to min-max your real lives, have fun in game, and we will see you next week, my friends. See ya.